Good afternoon and welcome to the Iraqi Dinar, where we cut through the noise to bring you the most critical developments in global currencies. We've been tracking an immense amount of chatter and activity surrounding the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong, and what's emerging is far from the usual speculation of reports from sources deeply embedded within the global financial sector suggests that behind the scenes, a significant monetary event is being prepared. This isn't just about a sudden change. It's about a deliberate, coordinated effort to adjust currency valuations that have been out of sync with economic reality for far too long. The signals are becoming clearer by the day, pointing to a potential shift that could have profound impacts for many. One of the most striking aspects of this new information is the specificity of the figures being discussed. Hearing about an Iraqi dinar exchange rate of 5.83 per unit and a Vietnamese dong rate of 3.94 per unit. While these numbers might sound staggering to some, they are reportedly not arbitrary, instead said to be meticulously calculated rates that align with current macroeconomic models and internal institutional forecasts. The fact that these same numbers are being referenced simultaneously by multiple insiders, including banking analysts and system programmers, suggests a level of coordination that transcends simple hearsay. This is the kind of detail that turns a whisper into a credible signal, hinting at a plan that has moved beyond the drawing board and into active preparation. Preparations taking place within major financial institutions lend considerable weight to the reports. We're seeing prominent banks like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, others making adjustments to their core foreign exchange systems. These are not minor tweaks. They are costly, labor-intensive overhauls of the very infrastructure that governs international currency exchange. Reports indicate that banks are updating their foreign exchange configuration tools to handle fixed exchange rate implementations for the Iraqi Dinar IQD and Vietnamese Dong VND. This kind of proactive recalibration is a powerful indicator. Financial institutions don't invest such significant resources into preparing for something they don't believe will happen beyond system adjustments. Our reports of banks and expanding their liquidity buffers to unprecedented levels. Liquidity buffers are essentially a bank's reserve of cash held in anticipation of high volume transactions or sudden market shifts. Why would these institutions be stockpiling such vast amounts of capital unless they were anticipating a massive surge in currency exchanges? This move signals an expectation of a significant event, a real-time reflection of their internal risk assessments and projections. It's a clear move away from speculation and into the realm of concrete financial readiness, preparing for a monumental influx of transactions that could be triggered by a revaluation. The potential ramifications of these fixed rates are truly global in scale. The Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong were to revalue at the levels being discussed, it would send ripple effects throughout the world economy. It could trigger a domino effect, placing pressure on other nations with historically undervalued currencies to adjust their own rates upward. Central banks and global financial bodies like the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank for International Settlements would likely need to revisit and realign their long-standing monetary frameworks. This is a potential disruption to the existing financial order, a kind of shakeup that could redefine the rules of international finance and force new conversations about currency valuation. Perhaps the most dramatic impact would be on investor portfolios worldwide. For those who have been holding IQD and VND, A revaluation at these levels would result in an almost instantaneous and unprecedented creation of new wealth. This sudden shift could lead to one of the largest wealth redistributions in modern financial history, with a new class of individuals suddenly possessing significant capital, transform the lives of many, and introduce new players into the global financial elite almost overnight, shifting economic power in ways that have not been seen in a generation. To understand why the Iraqi dinar is at the center of this conversation, we need to consider Iraq's broader economic context. For years, the dinar has been considered significantly undervalued, especially when measured against the country's vast oil reserves and untapped economic potential. In recent years, has been working to rebuild and stabilize its financial systems. It has leveraged oil revenue surpluses to build reserves and has made notable strides in improving political stability. The nation is also engaging in major infrastructure projects and forging new international partnerships, all of which are deliberate steps toward economic sovereignty. Valued dinar wouldn't just be about financial gain for investors. It would symbolize Iraq's reemergence as a self-determined economic powerhouse, grant the nation greater influence in regional and global trade, and would signal its return to the world stage as a credible and financially stable country. A stronger currency would empower Iraq to lead in the Middle East and beyond, providing the financial tools necessary to sustain its modernization and development goals. The revaluation would be a testament to the country's resilience and its strategic efforts to rebuild and assert its rightful place in the global economy. Similarly, the Vietnamese Dong is being discussed for its own compelling reasons. Vietnam has become one of Asia's most remarkable economic success stories, consistently achieving high GDP growth rates over the last 2 decades. Country's export-driven economy has turned it into a major hub for global supply chains serving multinational corporations in textiles, electronics, and agriculture. Vietnam is undergoing rapid industrialization with massive smart city projects and a growing embrace of digital banking and financial technology, or fintech. This modernization effort is attracting record levels of foreign investment. The Vietnamese Dong has long been dismissed by many. Its current trajectory suggests it represents a digital age asset tied to a thriving economy. Foreign investment pouring into its technology and manufacturing sectors, the Dong is seen as severely undervalued, failing to reflect the nation's economic progress and potential. The global financial system is increasingly under pressure to acknowledge this reality. Seeing this undervaluation would not only recognize Vietnam's economic achievements, would also position the Dong to play a more significant role in global finance. It's a rebalancing act that is long overdue, and one that reflects Vietnam's transformation from a developing nation into a key player on the world stage. The natural question that arises from all of this is why now? The reason lies in the ever-widening gap between the economic performance of these nations and their currency valuations. Both Iraq and Vietnam have demonstrated tangible economic growth and fiscal discipline. Yet their currencies have remained artificially low. Markets and global financial institutions can only ignore this imbalance for so long before the pressure for a correction becomes overwhelming. The current moment is further influenced by geopolitical realignments, global inflationary pressures, and a pressing need for new financial anchors in emerging markets. These converging factors have created a uniquely primed environment for a potential shift. When we look at the specific actions of major institutions, the picture of readiness becomes even clearer. Fargo has reportedly updated its foreign exchange infrastructure to support a wider range of rates and conversions with internal training modules on emerging market revaluation being introduced to staff at a JP Morgan Chase. Internal liquidity positions are being recalibrated and digital dashboards are reportedly being updated to activate formerly dormant currency pairs. Even whispers of internal memos flagging a specific currency event window for September 2025, suggesting a defined timeline of concern within these high-level institutions. Chase Bank is also said to be preparing with reports of its IT systems being tested for Tier 4B mass exchange coordination. This is a term used to describe high-volume retail exchanges that would be necessary if a revaluation were to occur. Process that would involve a large number of individual investors. These types of preparations, from reissuing international currency, a declaration of protocols, to placing regional branches on alert for potential transaction surges, are not the result of mere speculation, are the deliberate and costly actions of institutions anticipating a major financial event. The potential for a revaluation at the discussed rates $5.8383 per dinar and 3.94 per dong would be a transformative event for individual holders. The outcome would be a return on investment that is almost unparalleled in traditional finance. It would convert long-held currency notes into life-changing capital. The impact extends far beyond personal portfolios. Force global trade dynamics to shift as both countries would suddenly wield currencies with greater purchasing power and credibility. This shift would also compel global banks to reconfigure their entire foreign exchange frameworks, from trading algorithms to hedging models. International monetary policy itself would likely need to be re-examined, with institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, Bank for International Settlements. This potentially rewriting frameworks that have stood for decades. This moment has the potential to redefine global wealth distribution, realign trade balances, and shift financial power centers across the world. It's a systemic transformation that could usher in a new era of global economics. However, it is crucial to maintain a clear-eyed perspective on the situation. The signs of preparation are compelling. No official confirmation has been issued. Neither the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, the State Bank of Vietnam, SBV, the U.S. Treasury, nor any major international body has made a formal announcement. The absence of this official word means that everything remains in the realm of potential, not execution. While we've seen significant activity behind the scenes, the public-facing reality has not changed. It is paramount for individuals to understand this distinction and not allow excitement to overshadow due diligence. Persistent rumors of redemption centers being prepared across the United States are another fascinating piece of this puzzle. These whispers suggest that facilities are being set up to handle a streamlined high-volume currency exchange process. While there's no official confirmation, the details are specific enough to capture attention. Such centers could provide a more efficient and secure way for a large number of currency holders to exchange their notes, avoiding the potential logistical bottlenecks of traditional bank branches. If these centers are indeed being prepared for activation, be a significant logistical step toward a mass exchange event. There are even suggestions that special exchange rates could be offered to Tier 4B participants, which refers to individual investors in the revaluation community. This would require close coordination with banking partners to ensure liquidity and compliance with all financial regulations. However, Until an official statement is made, the existence and purpose of these centers remain speculative. The best advice is to stay organized and ready with all personal identification and financial records in order. This is a high-stakes waiting game, and preparing for it wisely is critical. The first step is to stay informed by relying on credible sources of financial news and remaining skeptical of sensationalized claims. Internet is full of unverified information, and it's essential to filter through the noise. The second step is to handle the logistics. This means organizing your physical currency and supporting documents. It's important to know the steps required for a legal and smooth transaction in advance. It's a matter of preparing for a potential event without assuming it's a certainty. The third and arguably most important step is to seek professional guidance. A sudden and significant increase with wealth brings with it complex responsibilities related to taxes, investment strategies, and legal compliance. Consulting with a qualified financial advisor, a tax expert, and a legal professional is not just recommended, it's essential. This proactive preparation can prevent costly mistakes and help ensure that any potential financial gains are managed effectively and sustainably. It allows for a seamless transition from a speculative mindset to one of strategic financial execution. Significance of a potential revaluation is about more than personal financial gain. For Iraq, stronger dinar would symbolize liberation from decades of financial instability and the ability to leverage its immense oil wealth for national development. For Vietnam, valued Dong would be a well-deserved recognition of its remarkable progress as a manufacturing powerhouse and a hub for global trade and technology. It's about national dignity and economic fairness, challenging a global financial system that has often suppressed the potential of emerging economies. This shift could inspire other undervalued nations to demand similar recognition, triggering a wave of rebalancing that gives developing countries a greater voice and influence. It is a moment that could rewrite the financial rules to reflect a more accurate and equitable global economy where nations like Iraq and Vietnam stand as respected players, shaping the future. The momentum for this change has never been stronger, and we are closer now to a potential shift than we have ever been before. Still be delays or logistical hurdles, the signs of preparation continue to accumulate. As we look ahead, we face several possible outcomes. The first, of course, is the official confirmation everyone is anticipating. Such an announcement would validate the preparations we've been observing and turn expectation into reality. Possibility is a delay, which is not uncommon in monetary policy shifts of this magnitude. A delay would not necessarily mean the plan is abandoned, but rather that the timing isn't right yet. Third and highly probable outcome is the continued acceleration of leaks and signals with more hints and subtle movements, reinforcing the sense that a major event is imminent regardless of the path forward. One thing is clear, the conversation around these currencies has moved from the fringes to the forefront of financial discussion. Preparations within global banks suggest a tangible event may be on the horizon. This moment is not just about charts and exchange rates. It's about hope, possibility, the empowerment of people who have been waiting for an economic realignment that acknowledges real value. It's a journey that requires vigilance and a grounded perspective. We must remain alert and informed, ready for what may come, but we should not get ahead of ourselves. Before we conclude, it is essential to emphasize a critical point. Everything we have discussed today is for informational and educational purposes only. This broadcast should not be considered financial advice. We cannot and do not guarantee any future outcomes regarding the revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar, Vietnamese Dong, or any other currency. While the signs of preparation are compelling and the momentum feels stronger than ever, official confirmations are still pending. Every financial decision carries inherent risks. We strongly urge you to conduct your own independent research and consult with certified financial professionals, tax advisors, and legal experts before making any decisions about exchanges, investments, or long-term planning. By combining credible information with professional guidance, you can protect yourself and maximize your opportunities in a safe and sustainable manner.